What's up, fishing fanatics? So I wanted to bring you guys an update video on all of the fry that we've got going on right now because, well, frankly, we've got fry in a lot of tanks. So, without further ado, see if I can find any. These are the Convicts cyclic fry that we had, which there's still quite a few of them in there. They like to hide. They huddle together. There's a couple of them swimming in the back corner there, you can see. There's, I don't know how many in here right now. There's quite a few. They just kind of all tuck around and hide, and you can see that we had quite a bit of stuff on the bottom of it, which is fall food, but we need to do a water change on these guys here pretty soon. But there's like 3 or 4 of them floating around in the back there. There's a bunch up over here in the moss, and then there's also some that hide behind the filter over here. So they're doing pretty good so far. They're still looking really well and raising up pretty nice. These guys take a little while to grow out, but they like to hang around the sponge filter, as you can see, and pick off of that for food, which is perfectly fine by me. And then of course over here we have our Endler fry, which again, that tank is kind of gumpy. So a lot of these that are in here now were fry that have been raised completely to juvies and adults. We started off with 2 pairs of these guys and they have bred like crazy, but right there in the very bottom, and you can see these guys want food, that's why they're all up here. They're used to getting fed in this corner. But you can see there's a couple of the fry there. Those guys are growing up pretty nicely as well. So they're doing really good, which makes me happy. Of course over here, if you haven't already, check out our video on the Corys breeding. This is from our laser green Corys. We got them in a bowl down here, which some people are against, and I understand why, and this was kind of a rush job because we weren't expecting to have the eggs that we had, but we had them, so we needed to take care of them, and we did. Simple as that. Let's see if any of them go zipping by here. I've seen one moving in the back there, but this doesn't like to focus very well, so it's harder to see. These guys are actually a few days old now, so we'll see how well they do. Given the circumstances, it's toss up right now, but you can see one just zipped by. There's another one that zipped by. There's quite a few of them in here that are cruising around all the time. If I were to go in there and lift up the Java moss, quite a few, or the Java fern, quite a few would start scampering out. They like to hang out over there. It's a good food source for them. But these guys hatched out and they're doing really well so far, so we'll keep in touch and see how they're doing. We do have some more eggs from them over here. We do have them in the container this time. We actually were able to get it set up right. The Corys are still in the process of possibly breeding even more. They could lay more eggs. It's really hard to say. So these were the initial fry that were in the Endler tank. These guys have all pretty much grown up. They're looking pretty good. Huge group of them. Growing nicely. We've got a lot of males, a lot of females. It's a really good assortment. So these guys, as well as the other the other Endlers, will hopefully be going into a 55 pretty soon, which will free up these 2 tanks. I do want to get these guys into a 55 as a community tank and let them just breed out and do what they need to do. Which you can see there's a lot of algae buildup on the tank, which is fine by me because it's a good food source for these guys. And these females already have gravid spots, so where'd they go? You guys are killing me. Every time I want to show you, you take off and start swimming away. You're not nice. Let's zoom out here. There we go. But these females have gravid spots already, so it'll only be a matter of time before we have even more. Endlers like to breed. That's what they do. They're a variation of guppies, and it's fine by me as well. So, and then down here, this tank's kind of messy, but for good reason. You can see there's some of the other fry. That was the first batch of convict fry that we had. There's like 3, 4, 5 of them in here. They were getting eaten, so we separated everybody out. But they're growing up. They're doing really well. Looking pretty good. Starting to get color now. They're a little over a week old, maybe 2 weeks old. I forget. It's really hard to say. There's the male. That's the dad. He's a jerk. But there's a good view of one of the fry at least. That's starting to get color, getting his lines in, looking pretty good. So yeah, there's those, and then I'm sure you're tired of seeing them, but I've got to conclude them because if I don't, it's just not fair. We got our baby shrimps. These are the blue green, or blue velvet rather. And there's some blue pearls in there as well, from that same line. They just, when they bred out, they kind of lost a bit of their color, so that's okay. We're all right with that too. We'll separate these guys out. That's part of the reason we're freeing up tanks. We want to make sure that we get some of the better blue dreams that we have, or blue velvets that we have out, and get them into better tanks. But these are some of the baby shrimp that you guys seen before. They're growing up nicely. They're doing really well. We started off with 10 of them in here, and I want to say that we're up to close to 50 now or so, maybe more. It's hard to say. Celestial Pearl Daniel fry. I've got to get a hold of LR Brett's. I talked to him at Aquatic Adventure, or Aquatic Experience, not Adventure. He gave us a few tips on how to bring these guys up. What had happened was, if you haven't watched the channel, I'm going to get into a little bit of a side story here real quick. But what had happened initially was, we had 5 Celestial Pearl Daniel male and females in the tank upstairs, 10 gallon. And then we had purchased a couple more from a local breeder that was at an auction. We didn't really know them, hadn't really seen them before, but we picked them up anyways. Their name is, they're the Margaritas variation of the Daniel. So we picked them up, we put them in here. They were in here for about 6 days. And I rushed things, or we rushed things. We were going to move them out of here, put them upstairs with the other Celestial Pearls so we could start breeding them, like, well, egg gathering, and it crashed the entire tank and wiped everybody out upstairs. So there were no more Celestial Pearl Daniels upstairs, which was heartbreaking because we'd had those for a while and we were getting ready to breed them, and didn't go according to plan. It happens from time to time. As we were sitting here, we noticed that there were some fry swimming around, and sure enough, the eggs that were dropped by the ones we bought from the local breeder, I don't know how, but they survived. This is harder water. When I talked to Brett, he said use like a softer water, which gives you the best yield, and I believe him 100%. Brett knows what he's doing. Lucas is very knowledgeable when it comes to that stuff. But we managed to do it in hard water, so I wanted to get a hold of him at some point and let him know that it can be done. To show him it can be done. I still would recommend going with what he said and using softer water, which we're planning on doing. We're going to get some more of the CPDs, and we're going to let them start gathering eggs, and we're going to start raising them. Because they're a beautiful fish. They're a nano species. They're just really cool. They don't get a whole lot bigger than what they are now. These guys are just about full grown. We've had them for a couple months. And they're looking really, really good. Plus they're in the tank with the shrimp. I mean, multiple uses, right? So they were raised from eggs in this tank. It works. Anyways, little side rant there, but now you can kind of understand why those guys are so important to us. But we also have the cherry shrimp, which again, I'm sure you have seen a shrimp, but a bunch of cherry shrimp babies are raising up really nice. And again, this was a tank that we popped in quite a few at one point, and we've seen ups and downs, but the tank is finally seems to be completely set and ready to go, and they're going to town. They're just chowing, so that's really good to see. There's quite a few in there now. I want to say there was like 20 or 30 or something in there, but now there's a ton. And of course we have the Bloody Marys over here, and I don't know if I'm going to see any babies. There's one of the males swimming around. There's a bunch of the females. But I don't know that I see any of the babies. It's one of the males. Oh, yes. Thank you. Anyways, there's a ton of babies in here too. When you feed them, they all pop out. There's just a boatload, which is great to see. So yeah, just a quick update on these guys. Like I said, these are the lasers. 3 different shrimps we have babies on right now. We have Endler fry, we have Convict fry, we have the Corys fry, and the Celestial Pearl Daniels are no longer fry. They're pretty much good to go now. So everything's looking pretty good. We've got quite a few going on, quite a few tanks going on with fry in them. We're still working on these. These are the koi swords. If you haven't seen these before, these guys are absolutely gorgeous. This is the batch that we raised from fry. There's only one original male, one original female left. We held on to them. So kind of shot ourselves in the foot with that because we could have had a lot more right now. But the female that's in here is extremely pregnant. We're hoping to see some from her pretty soon. She should be dropping a batch, and there's tons and tons and tons of cover in here now. Naja grass or guppy grass and a bunch of Java moss, and it's kind of hard for these guys to get around, which I understand, but it's mostly for the fry versus for them. We're gonna get another bigger tank going as well, and once that's done, we're going to move all of the koi swords into the bigger tank. And then we have the kahakus over here. We got them separated out. The female there is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, so we're hoping she'll drop fry soon too. So definitely a couple of variations of swords going on. We got the Endlers, laser Corys, and we have some angelfish upstairs that we paired out now. So we're hoping to get some more of them. And of course our shrimp as always, which is like 3 different styles of shrimp. But that's really about it for the fry. These guys still haven't dropped any yet. I'm still hopeful. I'm still waiting, and that should be hopefully happening soon. Not if it doesn't, it doesn't, but I'm really hoping it does. And that's somewhat promising to see them kind of hovering over by the shelves like that, which tells me that they're, you can see she's kind of popping in and out. Tells me that they're in the spirits at least. So we'll see how that goes. We might get lucky and start getting some fry out of here pretty soon, which will be really cool. Because I definitely want to have some, I definitely want these guys to spawn. I want to spawn these guys and race for their fry as well. And then you've already seen this tank numerous times as well. These are the green Corys that laid the eggs initially. There's our bigger beastly. They're not super green, but they are green. They're not the gold variation, and I know they look kind of light, but you can see on the bottom, that's definitely green, in case there's any question or confusion, because I know the golds and greens look similar. But we got their fry raising up now, and that's really about it, guys. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, as always, drop them in the box below. We're always open to suggestions. If you haven't already, do us a favor, hit that like, subscribe, and share button. Let's try to get as many people into the fish keeping hobby as we can. And as always, happy fish keeping.